another one of those things where it's like I moved to Atlanta being like, I'm ready. And then very quickly learned that I was not ready.
Welcome to Get Scene Unscripted. I'm your host, Jesse Malinowski. We are going to dive into acting insights, meet industry pros, and master the business. Don't forget to subscribe and share. We're keeping you behind the scenes and ahead of the game. What's going on, everyone? This is Get Scene Unscripted. I'm your host, Jesse Malinowski, and thanks so much for tuning in to another episode, or if this is your first time, thanks so much for stopping by and checking us out. Thank you. I mean, there's so much content out there, so I want you to know it does not go unnoticed that you have chosen our podcast today and in this moment. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We bring in incredible working actors, talent agents, casting directors, really, really great people within the industry to help you move forward in your journey. And we're about to do that today. I'm really excited about this episode. We are hanging out with a beautiful actress in Miss Rachel OHara. What's up, Rachel?
Hi, Jesse. Thank you for having me.
You're
very excited to be here.
Well, you're very welcome. I'm excited to have you. Fly Eagles fly, I suppose
birds.
I have to say, right? I mean, you guys are coming off your Super Bowl win.
That is so true. Yes,
Did you think it was going to happen, actually? Like, did you, realistically think you were going to beat the Chiefs?
I want to say yes, but I said yes 2 years ago, and that was pretty traumatic.
Yeah.
When it all went wrong at the last second. But I had a feeling.
Yeah?
It felt good this year. We were ready.
I mean, you guys trounced them.
Bodied them. Absolutely bodied them.
It was weird. It was weird.
Yeah. Something was right. I was going to say something was wrong, but something was right.
Something was right,
no, it was a crazy game to watch.
We didn't, I think I texted you during the game.
Yes.
Because I was like, I know who's really excited right now.
Yes, and yes, I was.
But we didn't really talk about it. It was weird.
It was weird.
It was weird.
But in the best way.
Yeah. For you, you're like, this is the best thing ever.
Yes, pretty much could lock in pretty early, knew it was in. Got very drunk, and it was very fun.
Nice.
Go Birds.
Well, yep. Yeah, you're a big sports fan, which is fun. So you're excited for Brave season now, right?
Yes, Braves and Phillies. I am from South Jersey. That's where my family's from. So we love our Philly teams. I wasn't a Braves fan until I moved here.
And then you have to, right?
Yes, it was a very fun time. And Elaine, who we know and love, her and I would just be going to the Battery, watching the games, and the team kind of won us over.
Nice.
But I do love my Phillies as well. I have to shout out Phillies.
I love that because I just love anyone that takes advantage of the city they're in. I mean, I remember when I lived in Orlando for a long time, and people would complain about the theme parks and tourism.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally people spend tens of thousands of dollars to come here, and it's in our backyard. And I just think it's kind of similar. I think some people move to Atlanta, and it takes them sometimes a long time to really begin to like the city. And it's there's so many great things, festivals, sports, there's all these cool things.
Yeah.
So I love that you take advantage of it.
So I moved here January 2020, which was unfortunate timing in hindsight.
Oh, yes.
And I moved with Elaine, which was amazing. So we had the first 3 months together, and then she went home for the pandemic. So I was alone in Atlanta, in a city I didn't know. I couldn't do anything. Everything was closed, had no friends. So the Battery became my main hangout spot because they would play the games on the grass on the big TV because you couldn't go inside the stadium during that season. So I just started going there and just watching the games on the grass with everyone. I say with everyone. Everyone's in their own little section, of course.
Right.
But it was my way of still being in a community when there really wasn't much community around. So that is how I found the Battery, how the Braves just kind of won me over, was because I was in my apartment all day with no one around, no one to talk to. And being in that outdoor space was the one time you could get a sense of people and community. So the Battery very quickly became my favorite place in Atlanta, and it still is to this day. I love the Battery.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love that. I didn't know that connection about the Battery. I mean, the Battery is just badass anyway.
Of course.
But I think that's really special,
Yes.
as a human, like really needed that. And,
Absolutely.
And I mean, I don't know. I think they're like, shout out to the battery. The battery
Shout out
probably
to the
like,
battery.
like doesn't even like know like how important that was for people.
The battery saved me multiple times.
Right.
It also just became like, it still is my comfort place.
Yeah.
Like, yes, anytime I need to, like, I'm going through a breakup or something, Elaine and I would drive to the battery, bring the blanket, and just sit on the grass and just, like, cry there and talk there. And yeah, I love it there. Shout out the battery.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I also, you know, you brought up Elaine, and shout out to Elaine. We love Elaine. How long have you guys been friends?
Since high school.
Since high school,
over
yeah.
10 years.
I love that. And
Yes.
so how has that relationship shifted for you? Because I think that in my experience, you know, friendships change, you know, and Rachel, I don't know if I've told you this, but I was like, that's not going to happen to me. And you know, it does.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to happen to you. But in 10 years, relationships, friendships change, they morph.
Yeah.
How have you been able to, because stay close friends with so many of your friends and within your community as friendships kind of morph and change? Because I think you can get jealous or you can get like, you don't want things to change, but like change is inevitable. How has that been for you know, whether it just be you and Elaine or the friendships around you? Because I admire that about you and your friend group.
Thank you. Yes, I love my friends. That is like my calling card, is that I love my friends. I bring all my friends together. We joke that like I'm Madam Web because my web connects everyone, like all of our friends.
Nice.
This is going to sound like a cliche answer, but it really is just like communicating. Like if you are having like an envious feeling, which is natural in this industry, just saying it, and not to like get a response from them or not to hurt them. Like you're not saying it in a malicious way. But it is just that recognition of like, I'm feeling this way right now. I know that it's not like rooted in anything malicious or anything real even. But like, I do feel this way right now. That's okay. And then just luckily like-minded friends, like the friends I say it to or the friends I say anything to, like they get it. They know it's not coming from a hurtful place or a mean place. It's just like, hey, I just need to say this because that's how I feel. And I said it out loud and now it's gone. And now I feel better.
Yeah.
And now let's celebrate you. Like it's not about making it about yourself, but like sometimes you do just need to cleanse yourself of it and then you move on.
Well, sometimes I don't even think it's like about, you know, bookings or anything. I think it's just about like, well, you know, Elaine just got engaged, right? It's like, oh, I don't get to spend as much time with you, you know, and that might hurt your feelings a little. And but like, of course you want that for her.
Yes.
But I love what you like, just like, again, it's so basic about communicating, but I think we keep so much stuff inside, right?
Absolutely,
and we
yes.
don't always communicate, but it's just like if you are like if you are feeling a certain way, right? Sometimes you just want to share that. And if you're telling me a specific feeling, I'm not normally going to be like mad at you about it. It's like, oh, like, well, what can I do to help? Or, you know what I mean? Normally friends are always going to be on your side.
Right.
You know, so it is so basic, but I think it's a great reminder.
Yeah. And I'm a very, very big believer of you are your 5 closest friends.
Yeah.
Like you are who you surround yourself with.
Yes.
So making sure that you're surrounded with people who like understand we have moments where we feel a certain way. I feel like knowing that the people I speak to know where I'm coming from, just makes it a lot safer to like have those conversations or to have those feelings of like, damn, Elaine, I miss you. Like we used to hang out every day and now we don't hang out every day. But it's also like, I see how happy she is. So it's like, that's amazing. I love that for you. I have other friends that I can spend my time with. And then when you and I get together, like it's even more special.
Yeah.
Because now we don't see each other all the time. And we used to live together. And now that's not the case anymore.
Yeah. This podcast is just about Elaine and how we want to spend more time with Elaine.
I love you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I love that. And yeah, I mean, like I said, the change is going to happen no matter what. And
Yes.
everyone grows and we grow in different directions. But I just love that over the last 10 and maybe longer for some of your friends that you've been able to evolve with them. I think it's really special, and hang on to that.
Yes. And there are those friends that I'm not as close with anymore, that I was like, we're going to be friends forever. But that's also just life, just understanding that you go down different paths, and it happens. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, it happens.
Yeah, it does. Well, one of the things that I was most excited to talk to you and why I wanted to bring you on the podcast, well, you're wonderful. I want to bring you on the podcast for that. But to really talk about a specific thing that it's so interesting. And so, I mean, you just got done you worked on this Peacock show. You were in Miami filming something else. You've done some Lifetime movies. I mean, so you've booked some stuff, but something that happened to you on this Peacock show, I'd like to dive into, if that's okay, because it's like such a shitty thing that happened, really. And the reason, it's funny because right when it happened to you, because I'm like, as you know, like I'm always like, how can we help actors? And what are conversations and things that we need to work on that like studios and people like usually don't really talk about? And like the stuff that happened, I was like, God, that's it. Like that is stuff that doesn't get taught in acting class. And like, you have to be so set up. And I know Candace you two were texting more about it. And I was just like, how is Rachel? You know, and I was like really worried about you. And it seemed like you're doing like well. And I was like, thank God, I'm so happy, because it could have gone the other direction, right? So anyway, listeners are like, what the hell happened, right? I did that on purpose, keep the suspense. So essentially, you know, without giving away a lot of different details, you book this job. It's like recurring, then it's not. Then like, I guess you can give away more of the details of like what happened, and let us know what happened, and then how you have been how you've dealt with it. And then I want to dive in more. If you're trying to get seen in your acting career, I have good news for you. Whether you are here in Atlanta or want to travel in for an in-studio workshop, or you're tuning in from elsewhere and you want to join us via Zoom, we have also online different workshops where we bring in some of the top agents and casting directors in the Southeast to help move your career forward. If you go ahead to the description right now, you'll find a 10% off promo that we rarely put out there, but we did think that we wanted to thank you so much for tuning in and watching our awesome shows. So I want to make sure to gift that 10% promo so you can join us for an in-studio workshop with an agent or casting director, or one that's online that will enable you to get seen and move your career forward.
Okay, sure. So I got an audition for this Peacock project. Co-star, I believe it just said co-star, didn't even say possible recurring. 2-line audition, no reader, just me. I do the audition, I do my 2 takes, of course, submit, feel good about it. I get an avail check for it a couple weeks later, amazing. And then I book it, and they let me know that it's going to be a 2-episode recurring co-star. So I'm like, I've been in Atlanta 5 years, and I've booked other things, of course, but I'd never booked a co-star on like a streaming service before. Right. So I was like, wow, how amazing.
And like first recurring too, then.
Yes, yes. And so I was like, wow, everything happens for a reason, like 5 years worth it. And then the next day I get an email saying that my scene in one of the episodes has been omitted. So I'm no longer recurring. But they will still, since they agreed on that, they'll still pay me out for that episode. I'm like, okay, showbiz, that happens. 1 episode, still very grateful, still very excited. I do a hair fitting where they put me in a wig. I do a regular like costume fitting, all of those things leading up to shooting. I get there the day of, very excited. I go to hair and makeup. I get my wig on, makeup. My clothes are in my trailer, so I throw them on. I wait for 3 hours, as you do. I get brought to set for the rehearsal. We run the scene a couple times. Goes great. We break for lunch. I go back to my trailer. They have to reset my wig because they didn't like how it looked in rehearsal. So I go back to hair and makeup. They switch that up. And then I go back to set to film. And the director calls me and the other girl over, me and the other girl who was the other bully with me. And in my head, I'm like, oh, we're getting a note. Like, let's play. Let's have some fun here.
We're about to bully the shit out of this girl.
Absolutely. So the director calls us over and we're like, yeah. And then she lets us know that they can't use us. And they upgraded an extra to say the couple lines that we had, and they were very kind. The director was very, very kind. She mentioned that she loved our audition. It had nothing to do with like the quality of our work. She loved what we did in the rehearsal. Like, it wasn't anything having to do with that. It was just production things.
So you go from, and this is the thing that's like wild, and this happens in this industry. You literally go from co-star, book it, yay, recurring, double yay, just kidding. And then like, people are like, oh gosh, my scene got cut. You got cut on a whole other level, kind of.
Yes.
Like,
we didn't even film the scene. We did the rehearsal. We were called back to set. We were getting mic'd up, like ready to film the scene.
Yeah.
And then she called us over, let us know that it wasn't going to work, and then sent us home. Yes, I was sent back to my trailer as they were upgrading the other extra, which was definitely a bummer. It was,
I'll say.
It was shocking as well.
Well, you know what? It's all perspective. Not a bummer to the extra.
Not a bummer to the extra. And that extra is, get that extra on here right now.
Yeah,
Let
right.
them
Where
tell
are they?
this story.
Well, no, yeah, I only want to make light of it so we could try to laugh at it. Because no, this is a tragedy. This is a fucking tragedy. I hate this story so much. So you are in good spirits about this. How?
Because I understood it had nothing to do with me. I understood it had nothing to do with my work. It wasn't about me. It was something else with the production that I had no control over. So I wasn't going to beat myself up and say, I should have done this, I should have done that. There was nothing I could have done. Did I cry in my car? Absolutely.
That's okay. That's all right.
Then, yeah. And luckily, I had a good friend come over that night, bring dinner. We binged Severance. So I was definitely upset, and it was sad, and everyone's texting me like, oh my God, how'd it go on set? How'd it go? And I'm
And like,
don't ask.
God.
But no, there was nothing I could have done differently. It had nothing to do with me. And I understood that immediately. It still was upsetting, and it was not ideal, but there was no use in beating myself up over something that I couldn't control.
Well, what about, not that I'm trying to give you all the reasons to beat yourself up, but I feel like some of the thought process of actors, right, is just like, this was my shot, or this was stolen from me, or, I mean, actually, and why I wanted to talk, I remember there was not to go into details about it as well, kind of similar to you, but I booked so I had booked a couple of different things, and then I booked another big Universal Studios movie. And so I booked it, and then, again, I won't get into the details, but I got unbooked.
Oh, before you even got to set?
Before I even got to set. And it's devastating. You're like, I've worked so hard for this moment, and how dare you take it from me? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So how were you able to so maturely be able to see that you're right? It's not you. You did a good job. This isn't going to hold you back. You're on your trajectory. Do you know what I mean? It's very big of you. How do you feel like you are able to be in the headspace you're in right now? Which I really commend you for. Yeah.
Thank you. One is kind of a cheat of that. Like I said, I hadn't booked a co-star in 5 years of being in Atlanta. I booked 2 in 1 month. So I knew I was going to be on set in a few weeks for a different co-star.
Yeah.
For
You're
a different
that show.
for a different Peacock show.
Yeah.
So that definitely kept me sane. So very grateful to that opportunity.
That's true. You're still on a run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the other thing is, like, if this would have happened to me 5 years, 4 years, even maybe even 3 years ago, I think I would have been in shambles. I would not have handled it as well as I think I did. I think it's just 5 years of actively auditioning. Like, this shit just happens. I know this specific thing doesn't happen all the time and it's like insane, but like things don't work out sometimes. So like knowing that it had nothing to do with me comes from 5 years of auditioning here in Atlanta. So I think it's just like I luckily am in a healthier mental state now, that I'm able to like sit back, process these things, realize like this had nothing to do with me, couldn't have done anything different, as opposed to just jumping to the extreme of everything sucks, this is so fucked up, like why did this happen to me? Which again, a few years ago, that might have been what happened, which is not my favorite thing to say out loud, but it is true. So I think I've just like, I have a greater understanding of the industry and how this works. And again, I know this like specific situation is nuts, and like my agents had said that they had never seen it happen before.
Yeah.
But just like the overall theme of shit happens and it has nothing to do with you. Like that is something I've really picked up over the years that I was able to apply in that moment.
I love that. And it's so true. And I think that, you know, for the listeners, it's like 3 years ago or 2 years ago when you would have been in shambles and you would have been, you know, like I'm sure at that time you're like, I'm so ready to be booking. Why can't I freaking book the job? I'm sure you were so frustrated about that.
Yes.
But like, it's interesting because it's like, but you weren't ready.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. The amount of times I thought I was ready and I was not ready. I'm sure there are even things now that I think I'm ready for. And a year from now, I'll be like, no way was I ready.
Yeah.
So yeah, that like perspective is huge. Also just like work-life balance. Like in the last year, I feel like acting is so important to me and it is my career, but it's not my entire life, which is what it was 4 or 5 years ago. So also just having that like work-life balance, if you will, like I was able to separate that like I am still a decent person who does good work regardless of what just happened.
Yeah.
Like whether that happened or not, it doesn't change the fact that I have a great life. I'm so lucky to have the people I have in it. Like all of those things remained despite losing that booking.
Yep. I want to like hit home for everyone. Like it wasn't about me. Because when I think about, I mean, obviously, you know, the amount of actors that we work with on like a yearly basis, but it's like the amount of times actors make it about themselves. You know, like I literally got a text message not too long ago about
text, not even an email.
Like a text about, no, it's somebody that's great, so it's fine. But even, you know, somebody who really knows their stuff and is confident and is booking is like, hey, like this happened. So do you think they thought this about me? And it's like, it's not about you.
Yes, it's not about
It's
you.
like they had this going on or that going on. Like, you know, we so quickly make it about us and we always usually paint a negative story. Oh, that callback went fast because they didn't like me.
Oh, yes.
Or maybe they callback went fast because they know they want you. Like, how come we don't ever say that? You know, it's like, so it's like we always make it about ourselves. And then we like always make it negative, you know, most of the time. So I just love and it's just so true. Like, it's just like, it wasn't me, you know, like
it is that simple. Like, I don't need to make it any worse. It's already an upsetting situation. Like, I don't need to pile on and shit on myself and make it even worse.
Well, I haven't told you, but I'm so proud of you for being so mature and so strong about it. Because, yeah, I mean, well, like you said, 3 years ago, it would have been a different story. So this is just like one of the many examples, I think, for people that it's like, it will happen when it's supposed to happen. And you may think you're ready, but like you are probably not.
Right.
And you don't know the lesson yet because you haven't learned it yet, or you haven't got to the place. But you talked about balance and you're like, I used to be like, you didn't say obsessed, but it was like everything for you. So how have you got to this balance, and how did you realize the importance of it?
That's a great question, Jesse. Honestly, I got a stable day job last year, and I was bartending up until then, which I loved doing. I loved bartending. But it was just, there's no stability. The schedule's always wacky. And those things were they're just exhausting. So getting like a more stable, using my degree to get a job, like, because it just required a bachelor's, and I was like, I have a bachelor's. So getting that, like that stability and that structure, I feel like really helped me kind of just relax, in the sense of like, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Which I moved to Atlanta 5 years ago, and I only got this job last year. So I think I was doing work until then, but I feel like that job is like what really solidified, just like I have other things going on and I have other things to focus on. Whereas like before it was just acting. Even moving here, I was like, okay, I'll live in Atlanta for a year. I'll book some jobs and then I'll move to LA. Like my whole plan was just acting based. Like my entire life plan was acting based. So realizing, like starting to create goals in other areas of my life, like personal goals, professional goals, relationship goals, friendship goals, like just adding goals in other places outside of acting. It gave me other things to focus on. And that's not to say that I like started focusing. I guess I did start focusing less on acting, in the sense of like, I didn't need it so much. Like it was a need as opposed to a want. And now I want it. I've always wanted it, but it was like, I was going to be nothing if I didn't have acting, or if I wasn't booking, or like, what am I going to tell my family when they ask? I definitely had like a lot of shame around being an actor for a lot of being in Atlanta. Because again, I expected to move here a year, book some things, no problem, easy peasy. And that just wasn't the case. So it's like having to like explain that to like family and friends who aren't in the industry. So like any actor knows, when you tell people you're an actor, they're like, oh, what have you been in? And it's like, okay, that's not how it works. But like, I get called in by this casting director a lot, which is great. I'm not making money from it, but blah, blah, blah. So just like having other things to talk about in my life outside of acting, I feel like gave me a lot of inner peace, of which I feel like brought that, like balancing things out brought me more peace. Acting was my entire life, and it can't be. Like moderation, too much of anything is not a good thing.
Yep.
And I did not have that balance before. So like picking up more hobbies and having like a structured job, like all of those things really just help me like relax and be like, okay, I'm on a journey right now. Like, this is so exciting that I'm on this journey. It's not about like, what is that? It's not about the destination. It's whatever that saying is, like.
It's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
Yes. I do hate to say this, but that is true.
Yeah.
And like, just like settling into that and finding peace in that, I'm like, okay, I know everything's going to be fine. I'm going to be acting no matter what. So whether or not I book something, it cannot be the end all be all.
So many great points in that, Rachel. And I think what a great aha moment if you're putting together your plan, whatever the plan is, right? And it only has acting shit involved. That's probably not a good plan.
It is not I can confirm that it's not a good plan. It did not make me happy. It did not make me feel good. I needed other things.
And that doesn't make you less of an actor, right?
It makes me a better actor. Right. It makes me even more of an actor. It makes me more of a human being. And acting is just about being a human being.
Yes. And I love also the point of you saying that you got this job and it like made you relax into it. And like, then you just booked 2 Peacock shows. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Not
and
one.
I don't think that's a coincidence. I have said that to my friends. Yeah. Like, finally, I was just doing auditions because I enjoyed them. I mean, and because I I still want to book it as I'm doing it, but there's no desperation. There's no like, I need this job.
Yes.
Or like, what am I going to tell people?
I mean, I think you've heard me tell people this. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes.
So, but I know it's one thing to like hear it, right? Now it's one thing to like live it, which you have now done.
Yes.
So like, what would you tell people for the person that's like, yeah, I've heard this a zillion times, right? It's like, how, other than like you doing it and being like, holy shit, it is different. It does. Like, what would you say anything? Like, would you say like, I wish I understood this, or like, is there something specific?
I feel like I was definitely one of those people who was like, I would hear it from someone, I'd be like, yeah, what the fuck ever. But it's like, I would say that, and then I would just keep doing the same things and like getting the same results. So it's like, you do need to switch something up at some point. Like you can't, I think that's like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Yep.
So like, finding that balance and making that shift in myself of like, okay, I'm going to try something different this time. Like maybe they're right. Maybe acting isn't everything. Like maybe there is some other like things in life to explore. I know we all think we know best, and I know we think we know everything. But we don't. You don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
So it's like trying something different just for the sake of trying it. You never know what could come out of it. Like you might as well try it, because what you're doing or what I was doing was not working.
So true. It's so interesting, Rachel. Literally before this podcast, we were having a Get Scene meeting, and the team was like, we're kind of struggling in this area. What do you think we should do? And it's actually an area we've been struggling in for a while. And my first thought was like, I have no damn idea. Like, maybe we should just give up on that area. Like, I really don't know. But then I just thought, you know what? For the sake of moving, for the sake of action, right? Like, let's just change one thing and implement one new thing. Let's not try to figure it out.
Yes.
We don't, like, we could brainstorm this for 3 hours and not know if it's going to work.
Absolutely.
And instead, we can literally just change this one thing over here, implement this thing, and be done in 15 seconds. And then we'll see if that works at all. But we're just doing something different. We're taking some sort of action, and we'll learn from it. It'll work, maybe, or it won't. But we'll, you know, like, it'll maybe work a little bit. Like, but the point is, do something different. Exactly what you just said. I cannot agree more. So good. So you just got done filming in Miami, right?
Yes.
How was that?
It was wonderful. I was there they had booked me for 5 days. 3 of the days were holds.
Yeah.
They
just laid out by the beach and got paid?
Yeah, I was gonna say they only used me 2 days. So we were I went to college in Miami. I'm from South Florida, so it was very nice, like homecoming as well. It was a project that Lori Wyman was casting.
Shout out Lori.
Shout out Lori. I studied theater in college in Miami, New World School of the Arts. And my first film class that I ever took when I graduated college was Lori's class.
What?
Yes, 5 years ago. And then 5 years later, she books me on, well, now it's my first co-star because the other one got cut.
Oh my God.
But it was a very full circle moment. It was very sweet. And then again, to be back in Miami, the city where I spent years.
By the way, I just want to say, you need to put that other co-star on your resume. You still booked that shit.
That is true. I did book it.
Yeah, so it's your second.
Second. So true, so true. My first co-star that I filmed, that I made it to, that I'm on camera for.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. It was super cool. We filmed on a boat. So there was like they were long days. I think our first day was like 13 hours. And then our second day was like 12 hours. So long days, because just a lot of logistics. Like at one point, there were 4 different cameras
overtime.
going. Oh, yes, we had overtime. yeah. At one point, we had like 4 cameras going. There's a camera in the water.
Wow.
Like there was just I had never been on a set of that scale. So it was so cool. And we're filming on the water. Like the director's on a different boat giving us notes through like a walkie-talkie.
Right.
So it was super cool. And it was an ensemble scene. So like it was a great like collaborative effort of everyone had to lock in and hit their marks and do what they needed to do. Yeah, it was great. It was a very great experience. I was very
awesome.
grateful for it.
I'm so happy that the crappy experience was followed so quickly
Yes.
with being paid lots of overtime, hanging out on a boat in Miami.
I was
mean,
also happy about that. Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty solid, and you deserve it. You talked about it being a bit of a homecoming. So you got a BFA.
I did, yes.
Yes, you go because you're using your BA for your big girl job.
Yes, I have a bachelor's.
Yeah. How do you feel like the schooling that you got prepared you or did not prepare you for like the real world of the industry? I feel like that's like one thing that I'm very passionate about. Also, Elaine is, because we both went to school in New York.
Yes.
So that's why Elaine is so back. It's always back to Elaine, right? More
Yes.
time with Elaine.
All roads lead to Elaine.
But you know, like I think that's why Elaine is such a great fit for the team and our mission, because, you know, within the mentorship, which you've been a part of as well, is just like I'm like, this is to help all the people that are that were on some sort of similar road that I was on, which is like, you are so passionate about doing this acting thing. You go to school thinking you're getting some of the best training or what have you, and you're going to be so equipped and so ready, and you're just so not. You know, so really filling that void for so many actors. You know, how was your experience with your schooling?
I loved my 4 years. I do not regret them. I don't think I'd do them over again, but I loved them. So we didn't have any film. It was just theater. My degree is a BFA in theater acting. And I mean, you do anything for 4 years straight, you're gonna get good at it. It's gonna sink in. You're gonna have a greater understanding. I teach teenagers now, and I also teach an adult class. But mainly for my teenagers, I always mention that school is amazing. Like, I loved that I got my training there. I loved my 4 years there. I loved the productions we did. I loved 2 of my best friends now I met in college. And it was a conservatory program, which yours was as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's just like, you're at 8 a.m. You are in your acting class, crying about something until like 2:30, and then you finish your day of all acting classes. You take an hour break, and then you're in rehearsals. So it's like that rigor and that consistency, like, you are building that skill. You are like, that craft is like rooted in you. It's not like you take an acting class once a week. Like, you are doing that shit every day, which I loved.
I was so blast.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes. And also we talked about sports earlier, but I played sports growing up. I was an athlete growing up. I was not like in the drama club until high school, when I quit acting and I quit sports and wanted to focus on acting. But like, even with sports, like, it's a skill. You have to practice. You have to get better. Like, you have to put in the time. You're only going to get out what you put in. So just like that discipline of getting good at something, I feel like was really instilled in me when I was younger from sports, and then applying it to acting, which again, like, I'm only going to get out what I put in. So it's more than just showing up for the classes each day. Like, you do have to put in the work. You do need to be putting these things into practice for them to sink in and to make sense. So in terms of like craft and technique, incredible. Loved my 4 years. I feel like I got great training. I graduated being like, I know how to act. I felt great about that. And then I moved to Atlanta, and I had the revelation of, I know how to act. I have no idea how to get a job. My headshots, dog shit. My resume, horrible. Just even like the structuring, like Actors Access, I didn't even know what that was. So I moved here thinking like, I have my degree, like, this is gonna be easy peasy. Absolutely not. I did not know how to self-tape. I did like all of these business things I had no idea about. So training, incredible. Loved my 4 years, 10 out of 10 recommend. But industry-wise, there was still so much more to learn in that area,
Right.
which I don't want to say my school didn't prepare me for that because I loved my school. I would recommend my school. But also it was a theater school. So coming into this film industry, like, of course I didn't know how
Did
to
you always
self-tape.
want to do film? What brought you from the theater degree to film? Like, did you pursue theater right out after?
I did pursue theater. And after I graduated, like I graduated in May and then I didn't move till January because I had booked a play down in Miami that I did in the fall. That was just what the program had. It was just theater. And to me, I was like, theater, film, they're the same thing. No problem. Like if I can act, I can act.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I did just want to, like, towards the end of senior year, I was like, I do want to do film and television. So like some of my classmates moved to New York. No one moved to LA. There was just I also had 18 people in my class. My college was like this big.
Yeah.
All my classes were on one floor of a building, like very, very small. But most people moved to New York. Some people stayed in Miami. And then I was like, I think film and television is what I want to explore next. So I chose to move to Atlanta.
You were like the only one that went to Atlanta?
I was the only one that went to Atlanta.
How did you know about Atlanta?
I guess back then it was like up and coming. It did have a market. One of my best friends, he had visited Atlanta and he was like, great city, like it's so cool here. And maybe that's what planted the seed in my head.
Okay, yeah.
Again, I also like had the delusional thought of like, oh, Atlanta's so easy. I moved there, I booked some things, and then I moved to LA. Like, let me be a big fish in a small pond. So I think that's originally what brought me to Atlanta, but very quickly learned that I had so much work to do. Again, big difference of I knew how to act, but I did not know how to get a job. So I had to learn all of that. Get Seen was a huge part of that Actor Spark, which is Get Seen Plus now, right? Yeah. I remember my first class. You absolutely roasted me. You might not remember that, but you tore me to shreds.
Really? I don't think
in a good way. Like my backdrop was wrinkly as fuck. Lighting, everything was just, it was not good. So I had a lot of learning to do.
Wow.
And I did it.
Yeah.
And it took time. Another one of those things where it's like I moved to Atlanta being like, I'm ready. And then very quickly learned that I was not ready.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I love that we've been able to help you on your journey and be with you and now be able to celebrate you and all of your success. I love it. What would you tell some? Because again, I love that this is another thing, right? Where it's like you think you're ready, and then it's like you don't know what you don't know, you know? So what advice would you maybe give to help, I guess it would be help open someone's mind, right? Because I guess that's really what it comes down to. Because it's one thing to be like, you don't know what you don't know. And you're like, yeah, all right. I don't know what I don't know, right? It's another saying that, like, you know, where you're like, whatever. You know, so I think it's like really just like we need to be more open. It's like I need to be more open to learning. I need to understand that I always need to, like, there's always something I don't know, or I'm not really sure what it is. But is there like any advice that, like, based on you experiencing that, thinking you were ready multiple times, and now that you've hit it, and you're like, oh, like I probably wouldn't have been able to handle this many years ago. But I'm in a totally different place now that now I'm handling it with such grace and positivity and confidence, right? And so it's like, what advice maybe do you have for the continue to seek out that knowledge or putting yourself around the right community or whatever it is that will set someone up for success in that way?
I'll say two things, and I hope I remember the second one while I'm saying the first one. Accept help. I feel like not that, but like someone telling, like you roasting me at my Get Seen. I say roasting, but everything was very valid and very helpful. Like I needed to hear those things, and maybe I didn't want to hear them because it didn't feel good to hear them. But like that is what I needed to hear. Like I need the people who are, I say ahead of me. I don't mean that in a way that I was behind. But just the people who know more, like they're trying to help you. They're not trying to hurt you. They're not trying to make you feel like shit. Like accept help. When someone offers advice or when someone just wants to help you in any way, like it is not a weakness to accept that help. So I would say that, and then also that like failing is a good thing.
Yeah.
As a recovering people-pleasing perfectionist, failing was not an option for me. And I realized this post-college that like in college, I was a good actor. Like technically, I was a very good actor. But I was not a good artist. And I think there's a big difference between being a good actor and being a good artist.
What is it?
That I think being a good actor in school, like I was about, okay, I need to make the right choice here. I need to make the choice that I think other people want me to make. And even with auditioning, like what do they want to see? Like, let me try to figure that out as opposed to figuring out what I want to do, as opposed to figuring out what is a choice that is like truthful for me. And like showing like my interpretation of a scene. Before it was always like, okay, how do I do this right so that I'm not wrong and so that I didn't fail or anything like that. But now it's very much like, okay, what's going to be fun for me? Like, what's a choice that I can make here that is going to be unique that no one else is going to make? Because it comes from my experience in my life. And I feel like for so long, the idea of failing stopped me from making those choices or from playing in that way. Because it was all very like, I need to do this. I need to do this. Like, I need to get this right.
Yeah.
And that definitely held me back and made me honestly a very boring actor. So learning that like failure is going to move me forward. Like it is not something that's going to destroy me or ruin my career. Like I'm going to learn something and then I'm going to apply it and it's going to be amazing the next time. So like that big mental shift, I feel like was huge for me as a growing actor. And I feel like I mentioned earlier, I teach. So I like hear like similar things from my students all the time. And I'm like, guys, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like you not booking this role is not the end of the world. Like it's not a failure. Did you learn something from that audition? Did you try something different? Like, great. Like that is a success. That's going to move you forward eventually. You might not see the immediate results now. But like, that's okay. It's coming. You just have to trust that it's coming. Acting is all about like throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what works. And you have to have that like confidence and that freedom to try things. Or else you're just never going anywhere. If that like fear of failure paralyzes you, then you're staying in the same spot.
Damn. If you could drop the mic and say, drop that mic.
I don't even know what I just said.
Yes, beautifully put. Beautifully put. I love you. Like, I don't even know what I said. I feel like that. Yeah. Yeah, you're like, I blacked out. I don't,
but I meant it. I know I meant it.
But I know I said, if I said something great, great. If I said something bad, forget it.
Got it.
Yeah. No, so good. So good. I could not have said it better. Well, I think with that, though, Rachel, brings us our spotlight sign off. 5 questions to end strong.
Okay.
Number 1, what's something you're super grateful for today?
Today, I moved into a new apartment a week and a half ago. And I'm super grateful that I'm in a position in my life where I was able to move into the apartment. Super grateful for my friends who helped me move. I did not hire movers. I hired my friends. And we had a party day while moving.
Of course.
So yeah, just very grateful for this change in my life that I'm very excited about. And similar to what I've been saying, like I don't think I would have made this change a couple years ago. So I'm very grateful that.
What's so significant about the change? Like it's just different location. It's
different location.
It's more room, no roommate.
No,
you're buying a goldfish. What's up?
Yeah, I feel like it's mainly the location.
Yeah.
It's also like a
it's
little.
It's at the Battery.
No, I wish. I wish. One of these days. I think it's just I stress a lot about money. It's something I've worked on. I like have more of a like normal person view on money. Before it was just not did not have that. So I feel like I upgraded a little bit, which sounds silly.
Yeah,
but before
no,
I would have been like, no, that's too risky. Like, don't do that. Like, just stay in the safe area where everything's fine. Like,
you got
know
a
you're
nicer
comfortable.
Place.
Yes, I got a nicer place. Is that simple? I don't know.
You got a nicer place.
But yeah, and just like I wanted to. I just did
Good.
it and
you deserve it.
I could. Like, it wasn't me being irresponsible. But it was just like I want to change in my life, so let me just do it. And I did it, and so far so good. I'm loving it. I feel like each morning I wake up and I'm like, oh, I love that I live here.
Yes.
Like I love that this is where I'm at in life. And that's
awesome.
a very nice feeling to just
Hell
be like
yeah.
good with where I am.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Question 2. What television show, movie, or book changed the trajectory of your life?
Changed the trajectory of my life. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to meet the drama of changing the trajectory of my life with this answer, but I am going to give 1 TV show and 1 movie. Like I mentioned, I played sports growing up. In my family, we grew up in South Jersey, and then in 8th grade, we moved to South Florida, when I was in 8th grade. Did not handle that change well. I was just like super unhappy. I'm also like in 8th grade, so what do I even know? But I was watching Glee. I cannot believe I'm saying this. I was watching Glee. I think it was season 2, episode 2, The Substitute. It's whenever they do the Singing in the Rain umbrella mashup at the end of the episode for all my Gleeks out there. And I just remember watching it and like feeling something in my chest of like, oh, I need to do this. Like, this is like, I was like, does everyone feel this? Like, is everyone's feeling this way watching it, right? No, that was not the case. It was just me. So I was like, holy shit, like, I need to do something about this.
Wow.
So then I quit playing sports and I switched to acting. And then I'll also just shout out my junior year of high school when I was already acting, but I like hadn't totally settled that I was going to pursue it in college. I saw the movie Prisoners. With my dad and my sister, and I just had that feeling again in my chest where I thought my chest was going to explode, and I was like, oh my God, I need to do this. Like this, I need to do this. So Glee and Prisoners.
Oh, what do you mean that totally had the drama of
okay, yes, I guess it did. Yes.
It seems very trajectory switching.
Yes. Yeah, like I can talking about it now, I feel it again. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, that was very visceral.
Wow,
yes.
I love that. Question 3 is, what's something in your daily routine you really cherish?
I'm a night person. I need to get at least 10 minutes of Sex in the City in every day.
Well,
it resets me. It calms me. I normally watch before I'm going to bed. I'm not watching it midday. But I watch Sex in the City every single night before I go to sleep. It's just my reset. And then I go to sleep and I do it all over again. I can't tell you why. Honestly, it might not even be good for me, but Sex in the City every day. I cherish that.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, all right. So a couple of things. First thing is, for some reason, time slowed down a little bit for me. So all I heard was 10 minutes of sex, and I was whoa, wow.
Gosh, no.
but again, for me, time slowed down. You said everything fine, and I was like, interesting.
Yes.
Wow, this took a turn I wasn't expecting. Sex in the City. Yeah.
Yes, the HBO groundbreaking show. Won many awards. It's very good if you haven't watched it.
We're talking about film and TV and acting. Yeah, that's what this podcast is. Yes.
Jesse's trying to make me look bad right now.
Great. Sex in the City. I love it. Yep. All right. So I have to admit something to you then.
Oh no.
I've never seen Sex in the City.
A single episode?
Not one episode, Rachel.
Oh my gosh. Has Candace?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. But you know what? I think it's too old. I can't go back to it now.
No, it holds up. I promise you. Elaine just watched it last year.
For the first time?
For the first time. Ross is currently watching it. Shout out Ross.
Ross.
It is a wonderful, the writing is incredible. The acting is incredible. They won a ton of awards. it's never too late.
I
That's
don't
all I'm
know.
going to say.
All right, Ross,
For anyone out there.
text me if I really need to start watching Sex in the City.
Boss.
All right. Question 4. What is something you're currently trying to improve in your life right now?
My morning routine. I said I was a night person. It's because my mornings are...
I'm a night person. I need to improve the morning
Yeah,
routine.
no, I
Well, what does that
definitely
mean?
just that I need more consistency. Like some mornings I'll sleep in.
You know what?
some
I'm
mornings
going to stop you. Why?
Okay. Because I feel better about myself when I start my day strong. Like there are days where I wake up at 6 a.m. and I go to yoga and...
But can you start your day strong at 8 a.m.? If you're also going to yoga?
Well, I have to clock into work, so I need to do these things ahead of time.
Got it. Yeah.
But
okay.
just for me, I just want more structure. I like structure. I would like more of an organized morning routine. So I'm trying to improve.
I feel that.
On that. And also being nicer to myself. I'm also always trying to improve on that.
All right. Well, to help with the routine thing, I think you should start with just something small. You know, so you're talking about the routine. So it's just like, I'll give you like a very like quick example.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I've been like wanting to do like teeth whitening things or whatever, right? I'm like, well, sometimes I'm making the bed. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put but I always have this excuse. I don't wear my white strips because it's annoying at night, but then I don't do it because I'm going to have my coffee or whatever, right? So this thing, so I'm like, oh, you know what? Well, when I make the bed, I'll wear the white strip. So I'm like, haha, I love it. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yes.
You know, but that's something so small that then, yeah, you're right. It's like something that I want to do. All of a sudden, I'm getting a little bit more momentum. So instead of trying to make the perfect morning routine right off the top, you just add a small thing.
Okay.
Until that becomes easy, and then add something else.
Okay, that does sound more doable.
Yeah.
I say this, but I've also have not figured out how to do it. But now we're on to something.
Instead of I got to get to my yoga class at 6 a.m., why don't you say, I'm going to stretch for 7 minutes when I get up?
That is much more doable.
Right?
Okay, yes.
So you just do that, and then 7 minutes turns into 15 minutes, or 7-minute stretch, 10-minute meditation. Now we just stretched and meditated, you know, or whatever you want it to be, but build onto it and make it really small.
Okay, that is definitely more doable.
Yeah.
Because I'm always just like, I need to fix my life right now. One thing at a time. Yeah.
Nice and easy. Well, this leads us to the last question, and we've gone over a bunch of cool stuff.
Yes.
So maybe something we already talked about, maybe something brand new, but if you wanted the audience to get one thing for sure, what would it be?
I really liked what I said earlier.
When you blacked out?
Yeah. I guess we're so back.
All right, repeat it. Yeah.
The value of being a good artist over being a good actor. I was listening to a podcast, I think with James McAvoy, and he said that real is good, but interesting is better.
Yeah.
So just giving yourself that freedom in acting, but also in life. That has been a really big shift for me. So maybe it could be a big shift for someone else. I don't know. I don't know.
I bet it can be, and I bet you made that impact right now today.
I
Good
hope
job.
so.
Yeah. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
it was wonderful connecting with you more.
Yes.
But I mean, we've known you for so many years, and if you don't recognize Rachel, she helps us with our summit, our Southeast Actors Summit. She's incredible. So shout out to Rachel for that. But love just being here and connecting with you even more. You're wonderful. I'm proud of you, and I love being on your journey and seeing you grow. So thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for everything you've done for me over the years. Get Seen has been huge. So very grateful to be here. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Well, thank you for also being here. If you are still here all the way to the end, if you haven't subscribed already, what the hell are you waiting for? Subscribe. And please, if you've enjoyed this podcast, send it to a friend. And if you want, leave us a review. Even if you don't want, I'll challenge you and push you to do so. This is Get Scene Unscripted. I'm Jesse Malinowski. We'll see you on the next one.